High quality trading opportunities are not limited to one market. The same structural principles that apply to stocks also show up in crypto, and sometimes even more clearly due to volatility. In this video, I review a real Bitcoin Cash trade that I took in 2023 and break it down using the same 6 elements I look for in every explosive opportunity. This isn't hindsight or theory, it's a real trade taken in real time with risk, execution, and uncertainty. I'll walk you through why this setup stood out for me, how all 6 elements aligned, and why it qualified as a high probability opportunity before the move even happened. So the goal is simple. I'll show you what quality actually looks like regardless of the market and what was the outcome. Remember to subscribe for more insights like these, and let's dive in. And moving on now to the trade analysis of Bitcoin Cash, BCH, and this is a trade from 2024. So this is a past trade. Albeit, it's been a couple years because this was early 2024, so it's been a couple years. However, I just felt like this was a great example of high quality setups, identical to what I look for in stocks, right? And I wanted to show you that these things happen also on cryptocurrencies on the weekly time frame as well. Of course, you have way less. I mean, you have a lot of cryptocurrencies, but you have way less compared to stocks. The vast majority of them are illiquid, meaning that you're not going to find them necessarily on popular exchanges. You're going to have erratic move patterns. Like you don't have basically the actors, the people who own the asset will be very concentrated, so you might have large spikes, move, stop hunting, and so on, right? So it's just it can be ugly and extremely volatile, right? Like huge move within just a few hours or few days. But you do find them if you're patient. So what you want to do is to stick to the most liquid cryptocurrencies. So maybe you look at the top 20, 50, 100. So that list is fairly small, meaning that when the conditions are not very good, you're not going to find much. But at the start of 2024, end of 2023 and beginning of 2024, we had basically the start of the bull market in general, right? With Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything was just like pumping up. And I wanted to show you that this trade just lined up beautifully with what we've analyzed actually in the past couple of weeks with this trade COFB that I took on the Euronext, where we had a bear market. So that was the peak you see, 2021, the peak of the previous bull market, bear market, downtrend, and then we have here basically accumulation, uncertainty, there is nothing going on, right? So that's our large base, and this large base has lasted for about a year, right? We have a clear level identified right there, and then mid-2023, we had a clear, powerful break extraction from that large base, right? So that tells us that the dynamic has changed. That tells us that there is now suddenly a lot of interest on data set, but this pattern was there on other cryptos, right? But not all had such a good pattern after the extraction of the large base, right? That's very important. We are not looking to trade everything that breaks out of a large base. This is this large base, ideally, what you want is to trade something that has strong momentum, right? If you're going to buy, you want to look for things with a strong momentum. So most of the time, the trade that you're going to have, what you want to look for, are stocks that have performed great, let's say, for the past 12 months, right? That have had appreciation of at least 40 to 50% over the course of the past 12 months. So that will give you basically that strong momentum, and then you look for patterns like that. In some cases, so basically it means the best, like most of them will be already in an uptrend, right? There's not going to be necessarily a bear market or a large base before. They're going to be in an uptrend with some pauses, and throughout this uptrend, you want to look for that. You want to have that before taking a speculative trade. In some cases, and that's a great example as well, the same as a trade that we took 2 weeks ago and that ended up already being a win last weekend. The same So in this scenario, right, we have a bear market violently, dropping from the previous all-time high. We have a large base forming, a break. So again, change of attitude, change of intent, right? A change of interest. People are now looking at this to buy. They are looking to, trade. They are looking to do something with that, and that's when that has happened. That's when you want to watch out for these. You want to look for the first clean consolidation after the extraction of that large base. And that's what we have here. So if you remember, if you've watched my previous video on the 6 elements of explosive opportunities that I look for, and I have a video on that, so feel free to go and watch that. The first thing we watch for is strong momentum. So we have that here. And it just so happened that this was after the extraction of a large base, but strong momentum is important. How do we know we have strong momentum? Look at the size of these 2 bars, right? Like clear, like massive, just massive 2 weeks, right? Momentum is there. Then we are looking for number 2, a clean consolidation pattern above that large base, right? We have that here. We have a beautiful cup and handle, right? Cup and handle with a handle that is contrasting with the volatility of the cup, and we have that there with a contraction of volatility towards the end. We want a clear resistance line where price has not been erratically going above and so on, and has fairly respected that level, which we have here, right? You could draw it a little bit below, a little bit above, but as you can see, right, from the peak here, from the top, right, price basically corrected and never closed above until the breakout, right? So that's our number 3. Toward the end, we want a reduction in volatility. That's number 4. Contraction of volatility. That's going to basically prepare and cook for an explosive move. We want a decisive breakout, right? So something that closed clearly above our resistance line. So if you switch to a daily time frame, you'll see that the price started to peak through and then close clearly above. That's where I take position. Number 6 is volume. So they are not displayed there, but and volume for crypto are not always that helpful. But if you add the volumes, I don't have them there, you will see that they were strong bars around like that week, right? So that's what you want. That's number 6. So I entered right there in daily. If you switch to daily, you'll see, right? Place my stop actually a bit further down, and I think my stop was even further, right? So it looks like it's far, but there's a reason for that. It's because cryptocurrencies are so volatile. You could have within just a few days a massive move down before continuing. So you want to leave more room for cryptocurrency trades than for equities, for sure, right? You want to really leave it, I would say, at least 1.5 to maybe even twice more room, right? So I don't remember exactly where it was, but I do remember it was quite a bit below than usual. Took partial profit there, 1-to-1. That's what I like to do. And that trade, as you can see, quickly turned around, right? So yeah, it was not something that went to the moon. And as you can see, we are still stuck there in that range. And that's fine, Took partial profit. We had, if you watch the video of the 4 ways to, the 4 trend scenarios to manage trade, I have video on that as well. So we had a beautiful box here forming, consolidation, close above. So I would have basically a stop in that area, meaning that I can bring my stop. My stop was up anyways after I took partial, right? And then after we close above that box, that tells us, all right, we had a clean consolidation with a strong close above. It is likely that the price continues, so it is safe for me to bring my stop around that area, right? And as you can see, the trade just reversed and we got executed there. So small profit there, but I took partial at 1-to-1, so it's a small win. There's nothing massive, but this trade worked out beautifully, right? That's exactly what we want to look for. You want to basically stack in your portfolio trades like that. And that's it. You see, this trade took months to develop, right? And that's fine. That's completely fine, right? This was already a win. There was no risk anymore the moment I took partial profits. and it ended up being a modest win, and that's great. You know, again, usually I would say that it's 1 time out of 10 you're gonna have a trade that's gonna be like massive, right? Like it's 10% of your trade that are gonna make up all of the vast majority of your performance, right? I would say that 70%, 60 to 70% are gonna be maybe small wins, small losses, and maybe like 20% you're gonna have losses following my plan, right? Based on stats, 20% of like 30% of like pure hard loss, 60-70% of small wins or like scratches or flat kind of, and then 10% that will just drive everything. So that's what we do. I don't know, what happened when I take a trade, but I'm here basically. I'm just doing my routine every day. I expose myself to high quality opportunities, and I follow my plan precisely when I do so, when I expose myself, and then I let the market do its job. I'm not praying or doing anything like voodoo to try and make the trade work. No, I don't. I just expose myself, and that's it. It takes care of itself, and that's the beauty of it, and it just works really well for me. So if you'd like to learn more about this, subscribe to this channel, drop on the website, drop your mail, subscribe to Telegram as well, because I'm posting content every week, these analyses, and also some pieces like that, right? That are kind of meant to be to educate and to share tips and best practices of trading in such a way, right? And if you watch the videos, you'll see that I share also like bits of my trading plan, my strategy, what I look for. So thanks for watching, and see you soon.